A beloved teacher brutally murdered in her own home. A tiny trace of DNA would break the case open, but not before the killer almost got away forever. Claire Thompson was 31 years old when her life was taken in one of the most shocking crimes her small town had ever seen. It was May 3, 2006, in Rosewood, Oregon, a quiet, forested town with fewer than 10,000 people. Claire taught third grade at the local elementary school. She was known for her warm smile, her love of poetry, and the way she remembered every student's birthday. That Wednesday, she didn't show up for work. It was completely out of character. Concerned, the principal called Claire's father, who drove straight to her cottage on the edge of town. He found the front door ajar. Inside, the living room was in disarray, cushions on the floor, a broken lamp. And in the bedroom, the scene was horrific. Claire lay lifeless on the carpet, her throat cut, defensive wounds on her hands. The medical examiner would later testify she fought desperately for her life. Police immediately sealed the home. There was no sign of forced entry. That suggested she'd known her killer or let them in willingly. Detectives began interviewing neighbors. One remembered seeing a red pickup truck parked in Claire's driveway the evening before. Another said they heard raised voices coming from the house around 9 p.m., but no one got a clear look at who was inside. Inside the home, forensic teams collected over 50 pieces of evidence. Most were typical household items, but one thing stood out: a smudge of blood on the doorframe that didn't match Claire's blood type. This tiny trace was sent for DNA analysis. Meanwhile, investigators built a profile. They learned Claire had recently ended a relationship with a man named Derek Fulton, a 34-year-old mechanic. He had a temper, and friends said Claire broke it off after he became controlling. When police went to question Derek, he was cooperative but edgy. He admitted they'd argued the night before she died. He said they talked on her porch, that he left angry but never went inside. Police found no cuts or scratches on him. His alibi? He claimed he drove home and watched TV alone. It wasn't airtight, but it wasn't proof he killed her. For 2 months, the case stalled. Claire's family and friends held vigils. Her students wrote letters to her family. People in town locked their doors for the first time in years. Then the crime lab called back. The blood on the doorframe had yielded a partial DNA profile. It matched none of the family, none of the crime scene techs, and none of Claire's known friends. But Oregon's database had no match. Detectives widened their net. They ran the DNA against the National Cody's database. This time they got a hit. A partial match led them to a man named Kyle Fulton, Derek's younger brother. Kyle Fulton was 29. Unlike Derek, he didn't have a violent criminal record, but he had been arrested twice for burglary. Police realized he fit the profile perfectly. He knew Claire through his brother. She would have let him in without hesitation. They brought him in for questioning. Kyle denied everything, said he hadn't seen Claire in months. But confronted with the DNA evidence, his demeanor changed. First, he blamed Derek, said Derek asked him to scare Claire, that it got out of hand. Then he confessed he went to her house alone. He claimed he just wanted to talk. When she yelled at him to leave, he snapped. Kyle described the murder in detail only the killer would know. In October 2006, Kyle Fulton was charged with first-degree murder. The trial drew packed crowds. Claire's father testified about finding his daughter. Experts explained the DNA match. The jury deliberated less than a day before returning a guilty verdict. Kyle Fulton was sentenced to life in prison without parole. In the gallery, Claire's family wept. Afterward, her father told reporters, "We will never get Claire back, but at least we know the man who killed her will never hurt anyone else." The case of Claire Thompson remains a chilling reminder that sometimes the danger doesn't come from strangers. It comes from those we think we know. It also shows the power of forensic science. Without that tiny trace of blood on a doorframe, Kyle Fulton might have walked free forever. If you found this case as haunting as I did, please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new story.